Imagine having your entire society built around farming, not wheat or rice, but fungus. Welcome to the fascinating world of ant farming. Deep in the heart of the Amazon jungle, a complex society thrives, their existence intricately tied to a practice that predates human farming by millions of years. The architects of this world are none other than ants. But these are no ordinary ants, these are fungus farming ants. Indeed, they are the pioneers of agriculture, their farming techniques dating back 60 million years. Long before humans first tilled the soil, these tiny creatures were already tending to their crops. But unlike us, who farm grains and vegetables, ants cultivate a very different kind of crop: fungus. Their farming methods are not just efficient, but also sustainable. In their subterranean gardens, ants nourish their fungal crops with organic matter, ensuring a steady supply of food for the colony. They're also adept pest controllers, warding off harmful parasites that threaten their crops. And it's not just any fungus they're growing. This is a special type of fungus specifically adapted to life with ants. This mutualistic relationship is so crucial that when a new queen leaves to start her own colony, she takes a piece of the fungus with her. This is her dowry, a piece of her homeland, a lifeline for her future offspring. It's a tradition passed down from generation to generation, ensuring the survival of both ant and fungus. And there's more. The ants have developed a unique way to boost their crops' disease resistance. They secrete antibiotics, which they incorporate into the fungus, making it more resilient. It's an impressive feat of natural genetic engineering, one that we humans are still striving to understand. So next time you think about farming, remember, ants got there first, and they are doing it in a way that could teach us a thing or two about sustainability. Autism, a condition we often consider uniquely human, might not be so unique after all. It turns out, the animal kingdom has its own set of behaviors that parallel some traits of autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, particularly in bull terriers. Fascinating, isn't it? Now let's delve into the research. Scientists have observed repetitive behavior, a common trait of autism in bull terriers. They often chase their tails obsessively, sometimes to the point of exhaustion. This kind of compulsive behavior is strikingly similar to the repetitive behaviors often seen in individuals with autism. But how about social interactions? Well, bull terriers are known for their aloofness. They tend to be less interested in socializing with other dogs or humans. In fact, they often display a lack of social reciprocity, a trait that's characteristic of ASD. Moreover, bull terriers are known for their intense focus on specific items or activities, another trait that mirrors human autism. It's not uncommon for a bull terrier to fixate on a toy or a spot in the yard, displaying what we could interpret as a form of restricted, fixated interest that's common in autism. Now, it's important to note that this doesn't mean these dogs have autism. The scientific community is still debating whether animals can truly have autism. What it does mean, however, is that there are some intriguing similarities between certain animal behaviors and the traits we see in humans with autism. Understanding these similarities could help researchers unravel the mysteries of autism. It could also help us better comprehend animal behavior. For instance, if you've ever been puzzled by your bull terrier's aloofness or obsessive behaviors, this research might offer some clarity. So, understanding autism doesn't just improve human lives, it could also help us better understand our furry friends. So the next time you see a bull terrier chasing its tail or fixating on a toy, remember, it's not just being quirky. It might be showing us a glimpse into the complex world of autism. Rainbows, a beautiful spectacle on Earth, have a different yet equally fascinating counterpart on Venus. On our blue planet, we're used to seeing these radiant arcs of color after a rain shower, when sunlight refracts or bends in droplets of water, splitting the light into its various color components. But on Venus, the second planet from the Sun, rainbows take on a whole new meaning. Venusian rainbows, or glories, are not quite the same as their earthly counterparts. Instead of being created by light refracting through droplets of water, they are formed when light tunnels through microscopic sulfuric acid droplets suspended in the planet's dense, carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere. This intriguing process is known as wave tunneling, a phenomenon that creates a bright, circular rainbow-like disk or glory around the shadow of the observing spacecraft. This sort of glory is a little different from the rainbows we are familiar with on Earth. Instead of a broad arc of colors, glories are often seen as a series of concentric colored rings surrounding a bright central point. The colors and patterns seen in a glory are highly dependent on the size and refractive index of the droplets causing the phenomenon. The discovery of a glory on Venus was a remarkable achievement. Captured by a space probe, the image of the glory gave researchers a unique insight into the composition of Venus's atmosphere. The presence of the glory confirmed that despite Venus's notoriously inhospitable conditions, there is water in its atmosphere, albeit in very small quantities. This discovery not only enhanced our understanding of Venus's atmospheric conditions, but also shed light on the planet's potential past and future climate scenarios. It's a crucial piece of the puzzle in our quest to understand more about our solar system's inner planets. So the next time you see a rainbow, remember, somewhere out there, Venus might be displaying its own version of this beautiful phenomenon. Sweating milk might sound like a nightmare, but for the platypus, it's just a part of life. The platypus, a creature that seems to be a mishmash of different animals, has many unusual traits. One of the most peculiar is their method of feeding their young. As mammals, platypuses nourish their offspring with milk, much like humans, dogs, or cows. But here's the catch. Platypuses lack nipples. Now you might be wondering, how on earth do they feed their young then? Well, it's quite an extraordinary process. Instead of nursing their young through the conventional method, female platypuses secrete milk from their skin. Yes, you heard it right. They essentially sweat out the milk. This unique method of lactation is due to their evolutionary history. You see, platypuses are monotremes, a primitive group of mammals that lay eggs instead of giving birth to live young. So, how does this process work? The mammary glands beneath the platypus's skin produce milk, just like in all other mammals. However, instead of being funneled to a nipple, the milk is released through the skin and pools in the grooves of their stomach. The baby platypus, called a puggle, then laps up the milk directly from their mother's skin. This might seem strange, and maybe even a little gross, but it's a perfect example of how diverse and innovative nature can be. Every species has its own unique ways of surviving and thriving, and the platypus is no exception. Their milky sweat is just one of the many fascinating adaptations that make them such an intriguing creature. So the next time you're feeling sweaty, be grateful you're not a platypus. Not only would your gym clothes be a mess, but you'd also have a bunch of hungry puggles to feed. In the grand theatre of life, it's always interesting to see the different roles each player takes on, and without a doubt, the platypus has one of the most captivating parts. Comets, those beautiful celestial bodies hurtling through space, have a dirty secret: they stink. Yes, you heard it right. These graceful sky dancers, often associated with wishes and dreams, carry a rather unromantic scent, something akin to a mix of urine and rotten eggs. Now you might wonder how we know this. After all, it's not like we have astronauts trailing behind comets with their noses wrinkled. The answer lies in the composition of these celestial bodies. Comets are essentially cosmic snowballs of frozen gases, rock, and dust that orbit the sun. As they get closer to the sun, the heat causes them to spew jets of gas and dust into a glowing head that can be larger than a planet. One of the key ingredients in this cosmic cocktail is ammonia, a compound made of nitrogen and hydrogen. On Earth, ammonia is a colorless gas with a characteristic pungent smell. It's the same stuff that gives a distinctive scent to cleaning products and, yes, urine. The other culprit behind the comet's foul odor is hydrogen sulfide, a compound that carries the unmistakable nose-wrinkling stench of rotten eggs. This is due to its sulfur content, a chemical element notorious for its unpleasant smell. Together, ammonia and hydrogen sulfide conspire to create the unique and rather repugnant aroma of comets. It's a good thing that space is a vacuum where smell doesn't propagate as it does on Earth. Otherwise, stargazing might not be such a popular pastime. So the next time you're looking up at the night sky, marveling at the beauty of these celestial wanderers, remember this fun fact. Comets might be a sight to behold, but their smell leaves much to be desired. Indeed, beauty, as they say, is in the eye of the beholder. So, the next time you wish upon a shooting star, spare a thought for the smelly reality of these celestial bodies.